Big Online.
Warner Brothers is going to go into another round of bidding, guys. It's just the way it's going to be. The next wave of multi-billion-dollar offers is expected by December 1st. So, Monday. That's only 11 days removed from the initial offers that were submitted by November 20th, while the David Ellison-owned Paramount has pursued a full takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery assets. Both the Brian Roberts-run Comcast and the Greg Peters, Ted Sarandos Netflix have also submitted bids. The latter two suitors are expected to be more interested in the studios and the streaming business rather than the linear TV properties, whereas Paramount may aim to acquire the whole company. And that is what the conjecture is. And the reason I bring this up is because if you recall, in the beginning, for months now, really since what, June, when they announced this, that David Zaslav was looking at a plan to split Warner Brothers up, but not in the way it was before. This time, you would have film studios and IPs over here with streaming, and then you would have linear broadcast. All the cable channels, the cable packages would be over here. Okay? Remember, Warner Brothers doesn't have an OTA. It doesn't have an over-the-air broadcast like a Paramount or a Disney or a Comcast, which is why Warner Brothers is an easy fit into any one of those other companies I just mentioned, barring Disney. But Comcast with, it has NBC, an OTA. Paramount has CBS, an OTA. Warner Brothers doesn't have an OTA. So the FCC situation, the Federal Communications Commission, you're not merging two companies that both have major OTAs broadcast license. So nothing changes there. And David Ellison and Comcast already have an FCC license. They don't have to go through there. That's one less regulatory body that you have to get your way through with scrutiny. They'll still have the Federal Trade Commission, of course, the FTC. And Trump obviously has signaled that he would like to see the Ellisons get it. Trump opening his mouth about who he would prefer in this case when it's his FTC that's going to be overseeing the process. Probably not a good idea on his part. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Trump coming out, even though he might be obviously privately rooting for Larry and David. But saying it publicly, probably not the best move. But then again, that's never stopped Trump before. But that's neither here nor there. The thing is that since David Zaslav announced that he was looking at splitting the companies up, there has been a decisive shift in the stock price of Warner Brothers, because it's also come with the specter of the company being bought, right? And ostensibly for, or hopefully for, a much higher price than it is or was before that announcement was made. I want to show everybody why I don't think that David Zaslav splitting up the company and is on the table anymore. He doesn't want to. And if Netflix or Comcast is unwilling or unable to take the linear with it, then it's probably going to wind up going to Paramount anyway. And let me show you why. This is Warner Brothers Discovery chart. I'm going to go back 6 months. I want you to look at where this was in June and July. $10. Okay? $10, $11. And then we got out here to when the discussion of we're for sale started. Boom. 19. Boom. David Zaslav putting out numbers talking about he wants a certain target. He's not going to accept, why would he accept $20 a share at this point? Why would David Zaslav accept $24 a share right now? The open market thinks it's 24. Now, a lot of that pressure is come up because of what they think somebody else is going to pay for it. So the prospective buyers in this chase are almost chasing their own tail in terms of how they're pricing it, because every time their bid goes up, the stock price is going to rise to kind of match it. David Zaslav is sitting on, as part of a recent pay package from this past year, after they got out of their 3 years from 22 to 25 of Zaslav running it, 24 million stock options in Warner Brothers Discovery. 24 million. Not $24 million, 24 million options. Meaning that David Zaslav, I think he's got to wait about a year before he can exercise them. Now that those are in his hand, he's got 24 million stock options. What is Warner Brothers at right now? $24 a share. Do the math. 24 million times $24. Now, if you exercise those options, he's got to buy the stock, right? An option doesn't mean it's a gift. It means you got to buy it. So what do you think the options strike price was when he got them? They're a little over $10 at a strike price, meaning that if David Zaslav were to be able to, if he were to exercise those options tomorrow, he would be able to buy 24 million shares of Warner Brothers at about $10 a share, $240 million, which he would then immediately be able to turn around and liquidate on the open market at $24 a share. So he's going to buy it for 10 and immediately sell it for 24. That's a lot of freaking money. Do you really think at this point in time that David Zaslav wants to or will do anything that is going to drag the Warner Brothers stock price back down to 10 when he's sitting on that gold mine? Hell no. Actually splitting up the company at this point would probably do just that. So he has no incentive to do that. He wants to sell this company to a singular buyer, lock, stock, and two smoking barrels. And right now, Paramount is basically the only one that is verifiably interested in that whole kit and caboodle. Netflix and Comcast may be put into a corner to where they're having to bid for the whole kit and caboodle, but they really don't want it. I think Paramount's the only one that does. I don't think Comcast wants to get overextended on additional linear channels, although it would far more easily fit into their big ecosystem. I think over the long term at least. But I think what Comcast is looking at is we're already dealing with enough things. We're already trying to consolidate our own linear. We don't want additional linear. It doesn't work for us right now. Or they're going to wind up selling some of them off right after they buy them, right? Also a possibility. I mean, Comcast is in the middle of spinning off things like MSNBC and linear into a different entity now. They're about to go out and buy another package. Paramount doesn't have that big exposure on that same scale. Paramount could, because they haven't done anything with Paramount yet since Skydance bought it, they can absorb another chunk before they do any major restructuring that they might have plans for. Let's go ahead and get Warner Brothers now before we start breaking things and spinning off and doing subsidiaries and blah, blah, blah. Paramount's probably still the best fit. Again, I'd probably rather it be Comcast. I mean, for me, from a business side, that makes more sense. Like I said earlier, because of the IPs and everything else, there's a very deep relationship between Warner Brothers and Comcast already. The question is, does Comcast want to take this on, especially for what David Zaslav wants? Ellison can probably put the financing package together much more easily. And I know a lot of people out there think, oh, well, his dad will just write him a check. I've said this before. I don't think Larry's not going to be down for, what's the market cap? Oh my God. The market cap now for Warner Brothers. Yeah, that's what I thought. The market cap now for Warner Brothers is $60 billion. Remember, back in June, it was like 25. It's like 25 billion. It's now 60 because of everything that's happened with this proposed sale. David Zaslav's looking for close to 30. And, there's some discussion out there that this next round of bidding, somebody's bid is going to have to come in with the first number being a 3. And Ellison's going to have to figure out a way to make that first number in the bid a 3. Zaslav's looking for $70 billion for Warner Brothers kit and caboodle. Somebody's going to have to put a 3 in front of it. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.